So now I've got to the stage where I've got all my frontage done, and this is my handleless door, which is in ash, and that's the grip there underneath there, and it has a little shadow gap there. So they're ready to be sprayed now. They're going to be sprayed a cement green, so it's from a RAL chart, RAL colour. So our frontage is all done, and then now we're on to the carcasses. Now when it comes to the carcasses, it's literally a kit, it's kind of a mechano job. I'll just put that to one side again. So in this case, I bought a panel. I buy it in lengths, and I get the ABS edging on it there. So it's a 2mm edge, it's waterproof, or moisture resistance, but they say it's waterproof. They come in lengths, and for a kitchen, the carcasses, as I said, it's like a mechano set. You just cut them to length. You put a groove in there to take the back of the unit. So that's over here, it may not be able to see it on camera. So what I do is I set it up to be as systemised as possible when I'm doing these things. So normally the units are 300, 400, 500, they go up in increments, depends on the size. I have a couple of two that are not regular, so they're off standard. So that's the beauty about making, you can choose the sizes and proportions you want. Anyway, so these are the carcasses. It just has two gables, it has a base, two top rails front and back, and the groove there that you'll see is for the back to slide in when the unit is together. So I systemise everything. I try and put in the shelf studs. Now in some cases they can be pre-drilled, but I just use shelf studs there. And I'd always use templates from the base there, right? In this case, this is just a sample piece. I put a marker there, T-piece, just to give me the actual line where I'm going to put in a shelf stud. And that's just an example. So if I take a shelf stud, I'd always push the pin to the bottom, in other words, that it sits flat. I find them too fiddly to hold. So basically I just put it in position there, get the hammer, now it's on the line. So that's the most accurate way of doing it, rather than trying to be holding something and it's moving, because you can't see it and you can't feel the pin there, it's just too clumsy. So I put it in position, push the nail down, push the nail back up this way, give it a belt to the hammer. So there's my unit. I have a base on, I have a gable on, and a top rail front and back, and I've got my shelf studs on. So the only thing I have to do with that now is put on the next gable, and I have a gable here in front of me. So that's the gable there. You see the groove ploughed, two shelf studs in it there. This is a base unit. Now the base units on any kitchen, normally speaking, they're 720 high, and they're about 570 in depth and 500 to the groove. The standards, the ergonomics about a kitchen or for any furniture that way, it's all based on the human frame and the comfort factor for the human frame. I'll speak about that in another video further down the line. We'll deal with ergonomics and design. This is ready to go on. You can see there again, I've all holes drilled, so when I have all the gables out, I drill all the holes in it, top and bottom, make sure they're paired, and then I'm ready to put them together. So in this case, I'll pop this guy on here. Now I'll turn away from camera just for a moment. So I'll put this guy here, and this is a Darina Allen job. You would normally put a pilot hole down through them there. Now I have them pre-drilled already just for camera. So I've that done, I've those done, and in this case I'm going using 4x50 screws. So they're 50mm long, and the head is 4mm from the centre to the outside. It's 8 in total, but the box gives it size from the centre and the length. So it's 4mm by 50mm. And I drive them in. So pre-drilled holes, no danger of the chipboard splitting there. You get a good purchase on the screw. And the screw, or the drill size, is equal to approximately the thickness of the, a little bit less than the thickness of the shaft of the screw without the thread. So I screw those in position. Flip it around, and I'll just put in the screws here this side again. Again, I have it pre-drilled. Front rail there, make sure that it lines up in front there. That's it. So the unit being together now, the next phase that we have is to put on these guys, which are the feet on the bottom of it. So there's 4 of those go on, and they're adjustable, they can raise up and down. Now, normally the front is about 150 in height. So these are just plastic. They're definitely a Xi Jinping job, they're definitely Chinese stuff. So again, what I use a lot in the workshop is these, the sliding square, or the combination square I should say. So from the front, I just mark a line across the front there. Do that as well. From the other way. Okay, just mark a line across the front. And these little legs, I have them a fixed distance from the front there. There's a little clip goes onto these guys, goes on like so. Fiddly. And the base front, effectively, assuming this is a base front, it's not, but just as a sample, the base front of the unit will go on there. So it's inverted at the moment, upside down. The distance I like to keep from the front, remember the base front comes on, plus the door goes onto the front foot as well. So the distance I have as a kickboard, effectively, I normally leave about 1 3/4, which is 45mm, up to 50. 1 3/4, 45mm is about nice. So with these here, I put these in position here. I can take this guy off, and I put him in position here. You'll notice that there's a little tab on it there, a little wing that extends out one corner. That goes in over the gable, and the idea of that is that if there's any load comes on the base of the unit, it's there to give it that extra bit of support at this point here. So just keep it a little bit away. Once it goes in on the gable there, you can see the line, gives me the front line of what I had there. Again, I'm back to the pilot bit again. In this case, a 2mm bit in here this time. So we just put in, I just normally put in 3 pilot holes. And the reason I put in 3 is that I can't see the 4th one always, I can in this case. Depends on how I hold it. Just reverse it around. And same thing again, put the tab at this side, put the tab here, in over the edge of the gable. So let's get a couple of pilot holes there. Now the thickness of the material I'm using that I'm drilling into is 18mm. Slightly stronger than 18mm, that's fine. So the screws I use are 16s. I use 4x16, and again, that's based on the 4x16s there, that's based on the size of the head and the length of the shank on the screw and the threaded part. Now be careful with these impact drivers, and I can't say I'm a lover of it because when it impacts, you could take the actual, pull the thread, and pull the chipboard out of the screw, or pull the chipboard out with the screw I should say. So it's a case of not overdriving the screw because you don't want to break the thread. So you have to be careful with them. There's a bit of skill required when you're converting over to them guys. The more it impacts, that sort of impact, that's not good because you're driving a screw that there's nowhere else to go. You can't go any further. So you need to reduce the impact when you get the screw in fully, or as opposed to going fully. So that's it. That's the way it should be going. Not with all this. Shouldn't be having that sound. That sound. So again, as I said, everything, no matter how experienced you are, takes a while to get used to something new when you get it. Now, here are the front ones. The block leg will just sit into that, and look, I can wind that up or down then to get my height, so on even floors it'll take care of that as well. So they're a great job. Years ago when I started, 5 decades ago, the gables would come to the floor and we'd actually have to describe them to the floor, which was a lot more work. And in a lot of cases they were solid as well, so there's quite a bit of work in the fitting of them. Anyway, good invention, sharpening gables, it makes a big difference when you're cutting them off the sheets as well. And the sheets that I get in this now are 9 foot long, not 8 foot long, which is an improvement on what I was using before. So again, finish on these, lovely textured finish. The finish on it, as I said, lovely and textured finish, and the amount of edges you can get, there's so many different colours you can get nowadays, that it's unreal. So the back ones there, I don't measure or do anything with the back ones, I just assume they're in from the edge there. I normally keep them in about 6mm, 8mm, 10mm, whatever. So now, this is my unit. It'll be delivered like this, and you can see now the back there, And this is the back already cut. Got a slot in there that just slots down there. So you can see how kitted it is. Now you can use the back actually to square it by pushing it. You can see that gap there, fore or aft. So you make sure that the top, well, I make sure, I'm just talking to myself here. So I make sure that it's flush and flush at both sides. I'll drill a little pilot hole in. Now, kitchen manufacturers, everybody will have their own way of doing this. I don't do kitchens too often. And I've forgotten how to do the damn things. So I put screws in the back of them just in case I had a back to take out. Lots of fellas might use pin gun, staple gun, or they might just use just 1-inch nails or 3/4-inch brads, something like that, to fix the backs in. So I just put a couple of light screws in that there. The main thing is that it's flush on top. That ensures that at 90 degrees down to the bottom there, that the press isn't like that or like that. So keeping that flush on top will ensure it's a square, and there's enough clearance on either side. So that's what the simple groove does. I go down to the bottom here. You notice on the floor, when anytime I'm using something on the floor, I'll always have cardboard underneath me there. It's easy on the feet, and it's also make sure that the edging doesn't get damaged. So I'll just put a little pilot hole there, little pilot hole there, little pilot hole here. Now you've got to make sure that you've got to be in the centre of the chipboard all the time. So now when you're familiar with it like I am, you've done it all your life, it becomes second nature to visualise distance. So I know that distance there is 9 mm. That's it. Just put in my 2 screws here, 3 screws, and that completes the carcass. So that completes the carcass there.